Hello, everybody. Time for another live stream tonight. Yeah, just give us a second while I'm getting set up here. And yes, there we go. Hello, it's time for some Facerig action again. I want to cover a couple of things here in case the title of this video isn't clear enough. Number one is I want to give a quick update on Facerig and how it performs now that I have a new computer, because originally when I did my previous live review of Facerig, I was using a i5 570K overclock processor, which is like a 4 cores, whatever, 32 gig of DDR3 RAM, and a GTX 970, just to give you a rough idea. Where now I have the new system, which is an AMD Ryzen 5 3600, 32 gigabytes of DDR4, M.2 drive, and I'm now on a RTX 2060. So I thought it now would be a good time to do an update, especially because I've been getting back into the YouTubing stuff, and I'm looking at getting back into Facerig to making characters for another channel, where, if you've seen before or around, maybe my character Trashy the Raccoon. And yeah, I've just, real life gets in the way sometimes, and you can't do a lot of things. So it's taken time to get around to it. Well, so I've decided to see what's what with Facerig. Decided to go see if they had any new avatars and stuff. And I thought, yeah, it'd be time to see the difference in performance now. Now, just let me do the calibration here. Now, I'm not going to go into the specifics of the program. Number one, it's more so the performance now that it's on a different computer. And even now, you can see I'm streaming this at 1080p. I'm not capturing it the same way I would do in a regular video. So hopefully you'll get a better idea of quality. So yeah, I'm running it at a higher resolution with higher settings. You can go back and look at my other video later on when I edit all this. I will put a link to the other video in the description. But yeah, I'm not going to go into all the details and functionalities because nothing has changed since the last video. Same DLC, same program, avatars, all that sort of stuff. To be clear, I have what's called a pro license for Facerig. This means that I have paid extra for Facerig over the standard version, which doesn't cost a hell of a lot. I mean, the standard Facerig, that is, that's designed for people to just get on Skype and Discord or whatever and have a bit of fun with their friends in their video calls. But with the pro license, it allows me to, I don't know how this licensing works when you own software, but technically I can make commercial content using this program without any sort of issues. I'd have to get into the fine paperwork, the fine details in the paperwork and stuff. Now, excuse me, this is unscripted and is one of my live sort of review rant videos. So yeah, we'll get into the performance of Facerig today, and then I want to get onto, because a program coming out called Animaze. Now, Animaze is made by the same company, Holotech, and it is essentially Facerig 2.0. And I want to go over the differences with that and some of the controversy surrounding it coming out. I did honestly only recently found out about a week ago that Animaze was even a thing, because I was looking at getting back into using Facerig, and on their Steam store page, they decided that they wanted to announce some changes and things to this Animaze program that had been in beta testing. I wasn't even aware there was a beta test. But we'll cover that too, and how beta tests and things work as well. But for now, let's have a look. Now, this is a live stream. I don't know how good the quality is because I'm also on a different router too. It's probably a better router than the last router I had, a Technicolor gateway provided by my ISP, which died. So now I've got a more expensive, sort of better D-Link router. So that could have an effect on the performance of the lip syncing and things, where I covered that before, where when I do pre-recorded stuff and then upload it, Facerig works quite well. But because of streaming, sometimes you get a bit of a delay that doesn't really accurately represent it. But as you can see, interface and everything, the only thing that's not different from last time is I am using the same Microsoft LifeCam with the 1280 by 720 resolution. But anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to recalibrate it, and then we'll go through the smoothness and things and what's changed, what hasn't changed. And literally nothing has changed because this update program, as far as I'm aware, hasn't been updated in 2 years. I mean, Facerig, I think, came out in 2014, 2015. I will just check this by looking at the Steam store page, I guess. Then I just realised I've got all my Steam stuff up there, so let's get rid of that. If you're watching this, Ozfreak, now's your time to say something smart and get a pop-up there. Can't happening. Where are we? Microsoft Edge, which is my blank one. But yeah, it came out in 2015, 8th of July. So it's a little over 5 years now. So you sort of expect there's going to be new software on the horizon because it's not very long that often that a company will support their software for that long. But I think automatically you can see. Now let me calibrate. So I think straight off the bat, you can already see the animation seems to be a bit smoother. Despite having the same amount of RAM, it's faster RAM. Obviously, a more powerful, faster, more modern processor, and also a more powerful video card. Even though when I got Facerig and when I was using it previously, made the last video, Facerig was sort of what I would imagine would be more than adequate in. I mean, my PC was more than adequate hardware-wise to run Facerig. And I covered over some of the issues, like having to run at a slightly resolution, tweaking around with things to get things running optimally and smoothly. Bit of trial and error and experimentation. Now, as you can see quite clearly, I would say that you can see that the animation is much, much smoother now. It's not as, there's not really choppiness and things. Things are a bit more fluid. We've got the same problems. You turn your head, too fast and it loses tracking, but you're not really going to shake your head like a madman. Excuse me, I'm wearing a headset because I've got to get a new desktop microphone also. Using an NVIDIA broadcast, so hopefully my sound quality is being cleaned up and you're not picking up my ceiling fan and stuff too. Again, this is sort of, a live stream. I haven't messed around with the settings. So it shows that what I was saying in the past video, there's a lot to consider with Facerig and hardware and the way you set it up to the performance and things that you get. Because quite clearly, I'm running at a bit high resolution. I've upped the textures or shadows and settings like that. I think in the past video, I also showed what I'm running, but here we go. So now 1920 by 1080 and shadow map resolutions 4K. I have turned on simple post-processing. We'll turn that off. And yeah, I've even noticed where I wasn't too impressed with the live 2D avatars. We'll switch to one of those. And as you can see, I've literally got the same ones. My Sonic and Tails avatars aren't showing up there for some reason. But yeah, same Rick and Morty and stuff like that. Same PewDiePie. We'll load up the 2D avatars because I'll also go into some of my issues with that sort of stuff. So there we go. There's a 2D cat. I wasn't a big fan of the 2D stuff. Cat's probably a bad example. Let's try a human character. Now, I'm not into the 2D stuff because, number one, while I like anime, I feel a bit weird using a 9-year-old anime girl or whatever. I'm not a weeb. I'm not a lolicon or whatever the pedo types are like and stuff. I prefer the 3D avatars because even if they're mostly adult sort of thing, a bit more appropriate for a guy my age. Also, where I had complaints about the restrictions of Facerig's facial movements and stuff, as you can see here, I'll even auto calibrate. So just to give it a fair go. And there you go. So it's now calibrated. You can see the head tracking works. The mouth is moving in sync with my mouth. As you can see, I'm not using lip sync or anything. This is using the tracking, as you can see here. I should use the mouse actually around here. But yeah, again, range of expression. I can smile. And I'm going to mention this is one thing that I've noticed with Facerig. It doesn't matter whether you're using these live 2D avatars or if you're using one of the 3D avatars. The limitations of movement, but the live 2D ones are very restricted because you can do happy and you can do angry sort of thing, like, if I frown like this. And I mean, it's doing a good job, fairly good job tracking because, the lighting's not the greatest. Lights behind me, I'm only basically getting front lit by my monitors. And you can probably see at times it tracks my eyebrows a bit better than it did, but it's still not the same. But that's the thing I've noticed with the avatars. You can frown and make your character look a bit angry, but there's only one expression you can really do with your mouth, honestly, and that is smile. You see these live 2D avatars, limited range of expression, which is to be expected, the cartoon characters, but I pull a sad face. You can see my corners of my mouth clearly go down, and the tracking dots around here, if you can see my fingers, pay attention, because you can see everything, the dots match perfectly. Like, yeah, of course it's going to go blank if it can't see. But if I pull my mouth down, you can see his mouth just goes flat. You can quite clearly see how my mouth is angling down, and I wonder if this is by intentional design. So that's a live 2D avatar. I don't understand this one because it looks like some sort of wild animal thing, but you see there. I better check this is actually streaming. So yeah. So we've got buffering issues apparently on YouTube. So hopefully this will come through okay. I do apologise if you're watching this live. If it turns out shit, I will just delete it and make a new video, film it locally, or work out why I'm experiencing buffering. Because as you've seen, I've been streaming other game videos and everything just fine. Maybe this is another one of these issues with Facerig. I'll turn off the toggle broadcast. Maybe that has something to do with it. But again, you can see, look, I'm not even smiling, and this character is smiling. Let's calibrate it and make sure. Let's get a fair shake of the Sav, or whatever Aussie colloquialisms and things you want to use. And again, I've got a neutral expression, and this kid looks happy. Again, if you smile, it goes to it's already smiling, but if you smile, the shape of the mouth changes, but it more goes up in the corner. But again, sad face. I'm like literally straining my face, getting my mouth to curve down, be the rainbow arc sort of shape that you'd have if you say. I'm turning my head back because with the 3D avatars, you can sometimes get them to do that. Now, I bring this up because let's go back to a 3D avatar. We'll go back to Fluffo. Okay. Let's do one that doesn't have the goggles. That might help with the streaming. Okay. Just using animated. Somebody's messaging me, but they will have to wait. But yeah, we'll use Fluffo here, and then I'll switch to a different couple of avatars to show this. Because I said before, it might be with Fluffo because he is an animal. They got different range of movements to humans. But I'm pretty sure I really wish I could get a 2015, 2016 version of Facerig from somewhere that works. So I can go back and look and show you exactly what I mean, because it's really hard when you don't have anything to compare it to. I'm going to say, having the better hardware, I've noticed the animation and the responsiveness is a bit better. I better make sure that's on animated. Yeah, it's on animated. As we go into the retargeted. And to see if retargeted makes a difference, because I had a lot of complaints with retargeted ever since it came out. So yeah, the animation and things are fairly smooth. I'm not going to go into things like the eye tracking and stuff. It's all basically the same. And I was okay with that. But again, a smile. Now remember, with animated, it's almost like it has parameters where it fits into them. So it sort of does it where it's already preset, and it tries to match and be smoother. I don't know the way to explain it, but like in the last video, it was like, well, when you smile with your mouth closed, or you smile with your mouth open, where you can see teeth, the smile basically stays the same. Now, again, you can make him frown. It's been a bit weird. Let's calibrate again. Yeah, so the frowning, it's like, it's not really registering my frowning, but again, that could be lighting. But if I turn forward, there we go, we get angry Fluffo. But he can smile. We've got the same problem. See, like if I go in my mouth, you can watch the tracking lines track my mouth perfectly. But when I go, like do an O, you can see he can't get the O shape. He can't purse his lips like he's whistling. Like, But I tried to get this across to Holotech before in a post asking about it, and I don't know if there's communication issues, but we'll get into that when we get to the Animaze bit too. But yeah, when you go a sad face again, he can't do it. To get him to do a sad face, you've literally got to over exaggerate your mouth and tip your head back. And again, you'll see there might be issues with the lighting that's causing problems here. I'm going to be fair with that. That it's like, yeah, if I probably moved back and got into the lighting, it would probably work a bit better. Ooh, it looks trippy, those dots. But even in good lighting, perfect lighting, you can't get him to do a sad face. You can get angry smile, crazy smile, but you got to tip your head back to get those corners to come even close to coming down. And you think, well, it might be an animal avatar, but if you go with one of these human ones, now, like even the demon, I remember this demon guy here being the same, where when Facerig first came out and they didn't have animated or retargeted, it was just whatever a default setting for everything. I could go do a sad mouth, I could purse the lips like I was whistling, and the character would match it. And it hasn't worked like that since retargeted was added. Okay, so we go to, so we'll use a human character, use this female. Again, we're just auto-calibrating to give this game a fair go. And again, animation's smoother than before. I'll try and get a bit closer, actually. I hope that the program can see me better. But again, you can see this chick here. She's got a bit of an angry look. But pay attention to my face and sort of match it to that. Where, yeah, you'll see if I'm doing like a frowning, she's frowning and angry. A smile, she's smiling. And again, we're using animated and not retargeted. But my lips are closed. No teeth showing. But when I smile, got that little bit of teeth. But when I do an actual toothy grin, that's a little bit better. But her mouth never completely closes. But a lot of that, but that's probably a good example where you can actually see teeth. But there are avatars in there that when I've messed around with them, I lost track of them because obviously I was wiping my nose or rubbing my nose. Is again, if I try and do a sad face, the mouth doesn't curve down. She just ends up, oh, she's constipated and try and take a dump. And again, if I want to get her corners of her mouth, for some reason I've got to tip my head back, but as you can see, it goes in between. And I'm pretty sure, yes. I wish I had some of the original videos I've got when I first made this and I was messing around with it. But there have been several hard drives and things. Hell, I've even misplaced my raccoon character skins. I've got to hunt them out and some other characters I had been working on. And I'm really hoping I can find a backup of them because I put a lot of hours work into those and they weren't even finished. Another reason that sort of held me up on producing content with Facerig. But we still have the same issues like with retargeted. We'll load up the retargeted now. Now this is the one where it's meant to match more closely to what your actual face is doing. And as we pointed out in the last one, it was a bit stuttery and like a slideshow. It was almost like watching stop motion. Now, yes, your face is going to go spastic now because we're on retargeted and I've got to calibrate. We'll move a little bit closer to give it a fair go. Okay, so there we go. Now, as you can see, this is retargeted and the animation is a little bit smoother than what I showed in the last video, but it is still stuttery. I mean, her mouth can open sometimes as much as one, but it's just, there just seems to be like skipped frames and things like that. Like with the greater hardware, the animation mode was always smooth, but it's even smoother now and at a higher resolution on the newer hardware. But the retargeted animation, while it is working better, it still just is missing something. Like, yeah, see, this is going a bit over the top. I'm frowning, but her eyes are like her eyebrows have almost dropped behind thing. But again, yeah, it's like, yeah, this is me just relaxed, and she looks a little bit pissed off, but But it's again, it's that mouth. And even then, it just, watch my mouth and watch her mouth. There's like a delay with the way it follows, and it goes a little bit closer to the thing. Look. But even then, I've auto-calibrated it. And now look at her. She's angry. She's lost sync. There we go. Let's reset her. I'll try and stay the same distance from the camera because that'll throw it out. But as we can see, like I'll do the whistle kiss lips. And you can see it's trying, but it just doesn't get there as much as it used to. And again, it's different on different avatars. But there's things like if I turn my head, there we go. I've got to sort of turn my head to get her lips to go how they should appear when it's really weird. I don't know what's up with that. And I have used different webcams as well and get the same results. Haven't tried to connect or anything like that because one, you can't use a connect. I don't know iLeap motion or whatever. And this is how most people will use it. The majority of people will be owning a webcam. And a Microsoft LifeCam isn't exactly a crappy webcam. Yeah, sure, it's 1280 by 720p, but you can see the quality of it's fairly decent. The frame rate is decent. And I mean, when I bought Facerig, part of the reason was because of the Connect support, and they dropped that. And then yeah. And I can understand that too, because it was like an end-of-line dead product at the time. But let's go for another one. Maybe the PewDiePie avatar will be a better example. Unfortunately, I've tested this stuff out before. And of course, when I go to a live stream, it's going to act differently. But then again, I wasn't streaming when I did that. So maybe that's something to do with it. Okay, let's auto-calibrate again. There we go. And there we go. Yeah, you can see here this Felix. This is meant to be PewDiePie. I don't see it myself. I never have. He just looks like some rando dude. But yeah, again, you can see the animation of the mouth is stilted compared to the smoothing. We'll do the different mouths. Like, so he tries to get a bit closer, but it's a bit derpy. Again, we'll try and auto-calibrate it. Move a bit closer. It's kind of funny how it goes. But yeah, you'll see, like, focus on the jaw, my jaw. You can't do that in animated. So when it tries to, it does follow sort of expressions a bit better than animated. But again, you can see where my mouth is open when I'm talking in a shape, it goes something like it, but it's not perfect. And it's, again, it's that stuttery stop motion sort of look, which is weird because the head and eyes and eyebrows and things are moving smoothly. And then at times the mouth will go smoothly too. But you see there where he's talking, his mouth's like, then a big V in the middle. And again, that could just be the model. I mean, I guess we could use Team Fortress 2 guy. I think this guy's called the Heavy. And again, this is targeted. And so it's so easy to do angry faces. But again, look, I dropped my eyebrows down. They're not covering my eyes, but look at that. It's like his brow is trying to drop to his chin. Again, it's angled. Now, he's already got a naturally downward mouth, so he can sort of do the... Look how creepy that looks. Hello. Hello, how are you? But again, I've got to over-exaggerate the eyes, or otherwise, if I relax, his eyebrows are going down. And so we had him doing the droopy mouth, sad mouth. But again, so I've got to tip my head back to get him to do a sad mouth, and it's fucking uncomfortable. But not only that, look at his eyebrows, the way they're going. I guess that's what somebody from Team Fortress should look like, because they're like, I've seen shit, man. I have PTSD. But again, we'll go back to animated, recalibrate. But see, I'm trying to do a sad mouth, but his mouth naturally is down, so that's probably a bad example. We need another sort of human avatar. Going to do creepy clown. Oh, dog, we want a human. Well, this guy's a bloke, so he's closest to me, I guess. Shoulder gun Honda. Okay, so now we are on animated again. And again, so this is what I mean by the model you're using. You get different results. So you see two teeth together, but his mouth's like more open. Smile with my mouth closed, do a grin or a smirk, whatever you want to call that smile. And you see teeth. Same with the eyebrows, same sorts of issues. I'm just relaxed. I've auto calibrated it, and already his eyes are sort of, closing up. And it's not. I don't know if that's the eyes as such, or if it's actually the eyebrows dropping down, because I've got it set up for the auto eyes, like in the last video. I haven't messed around with any of the default settings, changing eyes or anything like that. This is stock, and we'll switch him to retargeted. And again, I can't get it. It just doesn't do the corners of the mouth. It's on the lips, and so the mouth doesn't pull down until you pull your head back. And again, we get the same problem with the eyebrows unless I really, staple my freaking eyebrows to my forehead. So retargeted has always been jank for me, but I don't care because I can get away with using animated. But yeah, I want to be able to have these things. Like when I talk, it does the job. And again, it's one of these things. Sometimes the animation is great, but it is what it is. I mean, because if you buy the base version of Facerig, it's like $15. I mean, let's look at the store. No, we don't want that. Okay, you look. Okay. Oh well, $21.50, but I think it's like $15 US. This is in Australian dollars. But I have here the Pro upgrade. That costs you $90. So that with the base Facerig. So for $21, it is what it is, and it works quite well. And again, we've got to remember this is, 5-year-old software now. Excuse me, I'll light up a cigarette and have a drink of my coffee. My review as such for Facerig still stands. It's fun for what you're doing with it, a bit of work, you can get some good results. Background quality, everything's still the same. It's the same program it literally was the last video. And you get sort of how it works. Get what you pay for. And again, that $90 fee is so people like me, back when I was monetized and I had planned on doing it, then YouTube came along and said you need 1,000 subscribers to be monetized, and it screwed me over because I've got 277 subscribers, but they're all legitimate. I don't bot and go do dodgy shit to get viewers. I'd rather have legit viewers, but YouTube doesn't care how many views you've got. They care how many subscribers you've got. They just keep moving the goalposts, and it was a pain in the ass. Had to go at Patreon, but I'm too small, and I'm okay with that. I do this sort of stuff for myself, but I also do this sort of stuff because I want to, do what I can to help people out and making purchases and decisions and doing things that are slightly different. So yes, I've got to say, okay, my review from last time stands, and yes, on more modern hardware, the performance is good. It's much, much more improved, and that just makes sense. All games get better the more powerful your hardware is. This isn't a game. But from what I was reading, they've used a game engine, so maybe it's using Unity, maybe it's using Unreal. I don't know. I can't say without going and digging up paperwork and remembering stuff. But what I want to get to now is what I mentioned earlier, Animaze. Animaze is made by Holotech, the company who did Facerig. I'll show you some stuff relating to that in a moment. And again, I've been waiting for a Facerig 2.0 for a while because I expected it. It's like 5 years old. Companies got to move on. I mean, PaintShop Pro, Photoshop, Vegas, most Magic Video products, Corel, Suite products, Adobe products. Most software tools or creative tools bring out a new version every 1 or 2 years. Sometimes I buy them. I mean, I've been using PaintShop Pro X9 for quite some time now. There was no need for me to update it because it works. I recently got PaintShop Pro 2020, which is several versions after X9. And to be honest, looking at it, apart from a couple of icons and stuff, it looks identical to me. It works the same way. But if I'm using a product, I don't mind supporting developers because, hey, they've got to make a buck. You know, if I've paid $100 or more for Facerig about 4 or 5 years ago, you know, that money, I've got my money's worth out of it. Even though I haven't used it as I originally intended, but shit happens. But it's like, hey, that's software. I can use it 20 years from now when it suits me. You know, same with my Unity assets making a game. As long as they're supported by a version of Unity I can use, it doesn't matter if it takes a couple of years before I get around using them. But yeah, I'll do another video about that because I'm working with a friend on actually building a game. And hopefully it's going to be something different than most people will expect. We're actually going to be doing a quick little game to try and get some revenue because we don't want to do Quickstarter and get people donating and crap and getting nothing in return and waiting for years. So we're like, we want to give you something that you will at least have something for your money. Then we've earned it, and it's going to be price appropriate, and that will hopefully fund our main project because there's only so much us two guys can do. We've got big ideas, but being able to execute them. I mean, but don't worry, we've already got ourselves literally thousands of dollars worth of Unity software. Thank you to Humble Bundle out there. Now, look, my videos aren't sponsored. I just use Humble Bundle, and I mean, yeah, you get some really good deals on it. Be mad to pass it up. But we'll get back to that later. But the point is, you expect new versions of software, and you expect that companies eventually have to bring it out. Now, the point is, like, the reason I'll use something like, say, PaintShop Pro, people will be like, PaintShop Pro? Why not Photoshop? If you're a professional graphic designer and this, and this, it's like, well, using GIMP. GIMP's completely free, but you can do some great things with it once you learn how to use it. Blender is free. But two reasons I use PaintShop Pro. I used to also use Photoshop as well as PaintShop Pro because there are some things that are easier in some and the others. Some can do some things. But basically everything I can do in do in Photoshop, I can do in PaintShop Pro. Even though the interface seems simpler, I prefer the simpler interface because it's just like PaintShop Pro, I can go, oh, I need a paintbrush. I want to paint something. Click, done. Where simple things in Photoshop can be a lot of faffing about to get a result, the same as GIMP. GIMP can be a bit more complicated than PaintShop Pro, but it's not as much of a pain in the ass as Photoshop. And I can get results in GIMP that I can't get in Photoshop or PaintShop Pro. But if I'm using software, I'm happy to pay for it. The same as buying a game. You bring me out a Doom 2016, I bought it. Doom Eternal comes out, a couple of years later, I bought it. Why I stopped using Photoshop is the same reason as I've stopped using a lot of software. Let's go Fluffo. I don't know. I just think Fluffo works best, but that's their pride and joy, the company freaking mascot. So it tends to be animated better, I think. So yeah. The reason I will say, for example, buy PaintShop Pro X9 and then upgrade a couple of years later. I mean, I wait with things like PaintShop Pro until they have new features that I think are worth spending the money on. Because, I mean, if I buy PaintShop Pro X9 and they bring out an X10 or whatever version came out after it, before they started moving to the years or when they moved to the yearly versions, it's like, well, within a year, you just don't necessarily get new versions. Now, if I was a new customer coming into a franchise, I would buy the latest version. It makes sense. It's stupid unless I want to save some bucks to go track down old versions. But if I have a version and a year later they bring out a new one, but the new one has like, I can't even think of an example. That's how often these franchises are so similar. I'm going to stick with what I've got. It doesn't justify spending the however much money they want to ask. It varies all the time. It varies from country to country, and from the sources that you buy them from. But I pay for all my copies of software. The developers are what I think is fairly rewarded. You give me a good product for a fair price, I will pay it. Photoshop, though, I dropped them when they moved to a subscription model. Now, the reason I moved to a subscription model is I don't do subscription models. I like to pay a one-off fee for standalone software. And I'm like, well, Photoshop, sorry, I don't think it's justified that you want this X amount of dollars every year. Now, people could argue, oh, but it keeps up to date, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, you know what? Windows keeps up to date too, and I only pay for that once. Well, I paid for it twice because when I gave my missus my old computer, she got my old Windows 10 Pro license. When I built the new computer, I went and bought a new copy of Windows 10 Pro. So Microsoft did get paid, and they're making money out of me. And yeah, I'm using the Pro version. So that's mainly because the work and stuff that I do and have done in the past, I need those Pro features that Windows Phone doesn't have. Having no home servers and running and stuff like that. But it just didn't become justifiable to me where it's like, wait, if I buy like Photoshop, I don't need it updated every year because the features they add, they don't impact the work I'm doing. If I'm just doing normal 2D graphics with all the tools they've already got built in, I shouldn't have to keep paying for crap they're going to add that I don't have. I just don't like subscription services. It's the same with games. I would rather give, say, id Software a one-off payment of, well, I think it's ridiculous because the game prices of games in Australia have gone back up again, where we're back to paying $100 like we were. Hell, $100 is more than what we were paying for physical copies. And yes, inflation and all that, but the fact is we're not getting discs, covers, and things. But I'll do another rant video about that. But yeah, even games that lose me is like Destiny 2. I bought Destiny 2. I bought the DLCs. I got it through Humble Bundle, I will admit, so I got it probably cheaper than most, but I still paid for the game. Then they went to free-to-play, and while the core game is still good, and I guess it's pretty high quality for what you call a free-to-play game, it's fallen through all the pitfalls that are a subscription service. The same with an RPG. I'm like, well, I'd rather buy a Skyrim for $90 than, say, play a RuneScape, a World of Warcraft, a Star Wars, the Old Republic, and say, you pay you pay $10 a month for those things. Say I go and buy Skyrim for $50. I pay $50, especially if I get a Game of Year edition, get all the content. I pay $50 once. I don't have to pay again in a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. No matter how much I play that game, I've paid for it. I don't got to pay another cent. But say you play a game like RuneScape, for example, and back when I played it, I did play premium for that. That's about the only game I've ever paid for a subscription. And as I've said to my mates, that was because RuneScape was a great dating app. It really, really was. My friends played it. They're on Members Worlds, the premium service. The majority of players were adults because they're the ones who could afford to pay the fucking subscriptions. And I had several girlfriends through that, and that's where I met my current partner, who I've been with now for over 10 years. My friends for longer for that. So it was worth the money for that alone. But it lost value for money once I get to that price where I'm now paying more than I would a AAA game, because $50 for Skyrim, and I can play it till the end of time as long as their computers and Windows desktops support it. You get to a point where it's like 12 months at $10. Well, that's $120 a year. 2 years, that's $240. 3 years, that's $360. So on and so forth. And especially when they start, oh, well, you got additional cosmetics and things. I mean, you look at some of these subscription games and you can end up paying hundreds to thousands of dollars. And I haven't really what to show for money. And RuneScape's a good example of that. Because I took a bit of a break from RuneScape and I thought nothing of it because I had stopped playing RuneScape for, say, 6 months. I come back. My account's still there. I'm like, yeah, still got my game. But then I took a break, got back into playing it. Some friends, but it just never was my sort of game. I used it for the social aspect, like a glorified messenger. It was like MSN Messenger, but with extra steps, things to do, instead of just sitting there typing. But I thought the game was absolutely awful. I still do. Mrs. absolutely loves it, though. If that's fair enough. But then I came back, say, a couple of years later, and my account, gone. Absolutely new. To start off with, a friend was interested in it. I came back and looked, and my account had basically been, I don't know why, had been reset to all my levels were 50. And I had like 99 mining. I had into the 90s smithing and crafting and stuff like that, because that's the things I used to do. Because to me, mining actually required skill. It was more than just click a rock. This is before they live in cabins and all that sort of stuff. I was actually like in their top 2,000 miners because, yeah, you couldn't just click on a tree and just go chop, 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 unlimited until the tree vanished. You only got like one ore from a rock with mithril or and stuff, and so you go to God, I got to remember the name places, but like Falador, I think it was. You go underground. You go. There's like 5 mithril rocks, I think it was, and you go tap tap tap. But while you're doing that, there's 4 or 5 other players. And each rock, only one person is going to get that. It really was the only part of the game I felt that had any fucking skill to it. And I got good at it. I got into the top 2,000 players. But yeah, so the skills levels got reset. Then I came back, and not only had they wiped my account, they had also scrapped my username. So I couldn't even go and pick back up and restart the game with my friend who was interested in it. Because my name was even gone. And they did this shit where it's like, oh, we sent out emails to people, blah, blah, blah. We gave people a chance. And I was like, no, you had my email. If I do a recovery, you've got my email. But no time at all did JGX ever send me a fucking email telling me about this shit. But I didn't care. I'm not going to play it again. I had a look at it. It's like, yeah, it's prettier. The engine's better, but it's not my game. But it's a good example of that. The money I paid for that subscription, gone. I really would have been better off just spending it on booze and hookers. Sort of thing. Because I ended up with the same sort of thing. Well, hell, if I went to hookers, I'd probably end up with more to show for it because I could have got lucky to have a lifetime STD. So I'd still have something to show for it today. For the kids at home, you don't want an STD. Thankfully, I've never had one. But yeah, you know me, I'm just a smart ass. So where does this bring us with Animaze? Here I am rambling on. How long we've been going for? 41 minutes. Yeah, that's my typical sort of going on. So this brings us to Animaze and the bit of a controversy because I had not heard of this Animaze program. No, don't want to click on Chrome. I'm using that for streaming YouTube. Okay, so when I came back to have a look, I was like, I wonder if they got any new DLCs. No, they don't. It's the same. I've never bought the DLCs for this. I've only got the Pro license or Pro upgrade and all the free DLC that you see there. But I've never bought them because honestly, they don't appeal to me. They really, really don't appeal to me. Like, you know, you look at that's not it. I honestly would like to make my own. I'd rather make my own content or go pay somebody else to make an avatar for me. You know, I don't want to just do a reskin fluffo. I'd like to go and actually have somebody make me a raccoon model because the restrictions, I can't really get the features the way I want to do them using the scaling. And I mean, this shit here, Deadmau5. It's like $3 for a band I don't know, not interested in. So why am I going to be interested in this? Hell, if you had Eddie from Iron Maiden, I'd probably buy that in a heartbeat. And it wouldn't be that hard to do because he's a bit similar facial features to the demon. Take away the horns, you know, change the eyes a bit, but he's got that sort of semi-skeleton nose. But yeah, Deadmau5 means nothing to me. There's Flippity, the sea creature and shit like that. The Halloween avatars, I think they're a bit ugly. I can understand people want them, but they don't fit me. They just don't fit me at all. And I don't like. They're sort of aimed at furries, sort of thing. There's no real characters. I want more adult characters, more sci-fi. But fair enough. I can make my own. I can reskin what they've got, and what comes with it, I can work with. But while I'm looking, I notice, wait, Animaze beta feedback update. And at first, I almost didn't notice it because there's old Fluffo. So I just thought, and we've got another one over here, and I'm just like, oh, it's just crap to do with Facerig in general. But no, what it is it's actually, they've got a new program coming out. And as you can see, extending Facerig support, going away sale, and Animaze updates. Because Facerig is being dropped. As you can see, Animaze is entering early access in 2020, and as of December 31st next year, Facerig support is going to be dropped. And I may be wrong here, but I think they've basically said, once support is dropped, there will no be any updates, which doesn't surprise me. As I said, they haven't updated the damn software in 2 years. There are issues they haven't fixed, and they're never going to fix. And even people are complaining because it's like, well, you know, you bring out this new program that's going to have the fixes in it. And I'm like, yeah, fair. I can understand. I wanted a new program. I wanted a bigger, better program. more refined, and I'm happy to pay for it the same as my image editing software. So I expected that, but once it goes off sale, that's it. You won't be able to buy Facerig. You will not be able to buy the DLCs. They're gone. So if you buy Facerig now and you're like, I'm going to buy the DLC in the future, you've got till 31st of December to buy it. And again, like I said, I want to buy more DLCs, but they've got nothing that appeals to me at all. But then I'm like, what's this Animaze thing? Now, we'll go over some of the pros of, well, if you can call them that, of Animaze, which is basically Facerig 2.0 with a new name. And again, Animaze, anime, it's like, come on, it's aimed at 12s. Now, the reason I'm going to point this out is because who do you think has got the money to buy products like this? Yeah, kids can get their pocket money, they can save up. Yeah, they can go buy a $15 Facerig, but are they going to go buy Facerig Studio? Are they going to pay $100 for the Facerig Pro license? No, that's people like me, adults and shit. Okay? Or maybe the kid who's got a popular YouTube and is making a bit of money. But and also keep in mind, I've got a pro license. I don't monetize it, but I like supporting developers. And a Facerig sequel, I'd be happy to pay $100, $150 for one-off price software. Benefits of being a Facerig owner, because you get these people who are like, oh, instead of updating, it's like, come on, guys, it's 5 years. They've got mouths to feed, bills to pay. You can't expect them to keep working on software and updating it for free forever. It's insane, because all software, they might be still getting sales for Facerig, but they're not getting the sales they did, say, 3 years ago. Even GTA. This is why you get game companies give their games away for free when they've been out for a while. Like, I got The Division for free because, you know what, Ubisoft ain't selling that shit no more. They've got a sequel, Division 2. So they don't lose anything by giving it away. And if anything, then maybe they get a sucker that comes along and buys their DLC. That's a good example of a game where I looked at the DLC and I was like, holy shit, I might have got this game for free, but I ain't paying that money for cosmetics or whatever, even if it's pay to win. I don't never pay to win stuff. And yeah, Destiny 2, I mean, I've heard that they're dropping some of the content that I actually paid for. But it's paid content. I've heard they're dropping the Mars content. I don't know if that's true. I've only heard it from friends. Anyway, getting off topic. So the good news is, and there's not going to be much good news here, is if you own Facerig now, and I don't know if this is, I think it is just any version of Facerig, you get all your avatars and stuff like that because they're getting transferred to Animaze. Because again, this is Animaze, but if you looked at that screenshot, it's got Fluffo. If we go here, you get this little video, and it's like, spot the new avatars here. Okay, but anyway, you unlock them in here. We'll get back to this. You aren't, because we don't want spoilers, but okay. You unlock them in. Yeah, you unlock them in content, and there's going to be exclusive content, like something like maybe get unique avatars or something like that. I could look it up, but I won't right this second. But you can look it up yourself, where they're like, oh, there's exclusive things to our Facerig supporters, which I'm like, cool. And you got the usual people, oh, I just bought Facerig and you're cancelling it. And I'm like, well, what do you expect when 5-year-old software? There's always going to be that person where when they stop support for a game, somebody bought it the day before then. They're talking about going on sale and stuff like that. And again, my review still stands, but like I said, look at this. All the DLC, $132, $21. If you're an Australian and you bought this, it would be $150 software. Now, keep in mind, I've had this software for about 4 or 5 years now. Okay? Don't smoke, kids, filthy habit. So I can't say that I haven't got my money's worth with it, but yeah, 5 years. Now in 5 years, I have, if you go by current pricing, spent no more than $111 on the program. Probably less, because I think I got actual Facerig itself from Humble Bundle and then bought the Pro license because, like I said, at the time I was planning on monetizing, doing a channel and monetizing the content I made here. And where I could have done that, because honestly, there's nothing to tell the difference between Pro Facerig and regular Facerig, except for when you load up Facerig. Let me restart Facerig and you will see. If you buy $20 Facerig, hopefully this will show up in the stream, which it should do. But okay, start up Facerig. Okay, red background. Maybe it's not going to show up, has it? Don't tell me they haven't done it. So here's another problem too. Like I've tried to do a capture before and it wasn't coming up, or tried to feed it in Discord, it wouldn't come up. Again, because I pointed this out and the devs were like, oh no, it installs it where you've got to navigate to the Facerig folder and install these add-ons, which I haven't done. But you're not seeing anything here. Let's see if we can find it, what the hell's going on here. Because I want to show you. But that gives you a good example. Okay, we've got Facerig there. Let's bring it up again so we can see a difference. All right, we've got Facerig. You can see there's nothing saying Pro there, is there? Nothing on this page saying Pro. And as you've seen from when I've had Facerig running, you don't see it saying Pro. So I've got to go. I hate how the new Steam is with this sort of stuff. Defining your DLC. Okay, there's Facerig. Oh, I've got a Facerig workshop utility kit. I never noticed that. DLC. Oi. Where is the... Oh, man. This is it. It used to be on the page. You go to the product page and it was like, DLCs, download, or whatever. Hang on, I'll bring my Steam over so we can have a look. Apologies, people who've messaged me. I will read it when I get a chance. Maybe go manage. There's a protocol, browse local files. So this is where it's going to be hard. I'll give you a good example here. Is it bin? Yeah. So if you go to bin, prerequisites, here we go. I've got to install like a few of these things here to get it working. I think I've got to install the virtual cam driver. That's why it's not showing up in my webcam software, like Discord and stuff. But it's like, where is the Pro license bit? Properties. DLC, here we go. And oh, look at that. Pro upgrade. Every damn time. It's not checked. So when I install Facerig, it doesn't install Facerig. But as I said, I wasn't even aware I didn't have the Pro upgrade in there. Because let's see, let's install it. Okay, let's close it. Okay, don't mind if you see my downloads. Home. Okay, I didn't even see a download there. Let's see, maybe I have to restart Facerig to get it going. Like I said, I've only just started getting back into Facerig. It was just like 2 years ago. I don't know what the hell I was doing. Yeah, I got a massive library. So yeah, I might do that. Maybe I should post all my games and then say to people, what do you want me to watch? Or do a game a day. I'll just go through my entire list. According to Good Old Games Galaxy, which shows all my games, I've got about 150 games that are across Steam, Origin, GOG, etc., etc. But yeah, DLC, yeah, free Pro. So now it's saying install, but as we saw, no downloads, nothing downloaded. Okay, so let's start up Facerig again. Facerig, pay attention now, see if we can spot the difference. And nope. Nothing. Maybe when we click the launch button. Wow, has this changed? Oh, there we go. Now we've got the word Pro there. Facerig Pro. Okay. Now, apart from that word Pro, I see no difference between the software. And I brought this up with the devs before. It's like, how can you tell if somebody's using a licensed version or not? Because obviously, if I'm doing this full screen without the UI, I mean, and there's no indicator on the screen that I'm using a Pro or non-Pro, nothing's changed, except for that one word Pro on the loading screen. And I think this is part of the problem with where we're going to get with Animaze, okay? Is that's it. They tell me, oh, we have ways of sort of knowing blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. It's just a honor system. People like me that are decent enough to get a Pro license and stuff. But yeah, if you use the casual version and did content like I do and monetize it, they're not going to know. So this is where we come into Animaze, because are you right? And now we'll go back and have a look at it on the main page, Animaze. Here's the store page for it. As you can see, it's release date 2020, add to your wish list. As we can see, they've done a beta. See, new features, subscription tweaks, extended Facerig, and it's something like, oh, we listen to your feedback and stuff like that. We listen. Well, apparently, a lot of the people who beta tested it, I would love to have been it because I'm not a fanboy. I'm not like because I hate. This is what I hate about beta testing and this change. And I've got to say, I'm happy here because it was. I think out of like every 100 people, there's like the one blind fanboy who sucks the cock of every developer that's like, oh, it's amazing what they're doing. It's awesome. Well, this time I can tell you now, click this old view discussions button. We'll get there. A lot of people are not happy with what they're doing, and I myself included. And I've made it very vocal but we're going to get to that. Because if you see here, oh, wait, what's that word there? Subscription, what? Subscription tweaks. Not just subscription, but they've tweaked the subscription. So this is their best deal after feedback from their beta testers. And apparently, again, rumors, reading the forums, people have said beta testers tried to tell them, you guys are shooting yourselves in the foot here. Because they're moving, Animaze is going to be a subscription model. And if we click on here again, you scroll down, and here we go. There's what you're going to have to pay. And it's got a tab there. I can't click that and slide across, maybe on the website somewhere. So they've now got a free basic model. That's like your $20 version of Facerig currently. Or you've got a basic package and a VIP package. Now remember, they've tweaked this. So originally, I'm assuming they originally were going to ask for more money. If somebody can get me the original pricing, yeah, great. Love it. Thanks. Which tells you the features they've got. But if you've got the free version, okay, virtual webcam, 90 minutes per session. If you use the free version, the product, from what I've been told by people who've tested it, or supposedly tested it, and from what I've read, after 90 minutes, you can no longer use the program. Not permanently. What you've got to do is it stops working in your stream or your video call or whatever you're doing. You have to exit the program and reload it, the same way as I was just reloading Facerig then. Now, to get shit from the Steam Workshop is for free. But if, for example, like I want to bring characters into the free version, it's 99 cents. Now, I assume these pricing is in US dollars. I can't see there, and none of the devs have answered, replied when I've said, this is in Australian dollars. This ends up being a lot more because you can say like exchange rates and things like that. But I can tell you now, that's like $100 US is a lot of money in Australia. A lot of people got this bullshit idea of we're on high rates of pay and stuff. We're also on higher cost of living. It is very expensive to live in Australia. And that's for that reason, because a lot of other countries and foreigners think we're fucking made of money. Our house prices and grocery prices are insane compared to, say, the US. Say you buy a bottle of Coca-Cola for 50 cents, like a 2 or 3 litre Coca, I don't know what size they got, but you say you paid 50 cents for a 2 litre bottle of Coke in the US, you're going to pay like $5 for it from here. And that's from a supermarket where you get it cheaper unless it's on sale. And if you go to a gas station, man, it's insane what you can pay for a bottle of Coke, even a 1.25 litre. And people don't take that into account. But in my local money, yeah, I don't think in US dollars. I'm like 100 Australian dollars, 130 Australian dollars. 130 Australian dollars, it's a lot. Now, again, okay, and then everything else, separate category, all this you don't get. Not only that, you see remove watermark, because you're also going to have a watermark. Now, I've got an option in Facerig to turn their watermark on or off. It's like, well, pay for the fucking product. That's like me using Magic video editing software, whether it's Fast Cut or Vegas or whatever, and them selling me a product and even a subscription, even Adobe Photoshop, a subscription service. You pay a subscription with them, and I don't know if they've got a free service, but I've used free products, and it's like, okay, fair enough, put a watermark up there. But, and I'm not going to complain about that because you're getting the product for free. But there are other similar products out there, maybe not to this quality, where if you use them for free, you pay to remove the watermark, or you just pay a one-off fee to unlock it. You can use it for free. A lot of virtual webcam software, actually. Is it EasyCam? Something like there's a program like EasyCam or something, I think it's called, where they have, I think, a watermark on it if you use it. And again, it's lower quality. It's crappy masks and things, but they have the face masking, some sort of 3D face masking thing in there. But I think it's like you pay a one-off fee and then you remove the watermark and unlock it, and you don't have to pay again. I don't know. I'd have to confirm. But last time I looked at that sort of software, that was the case. Same with other webcam software I've got that's not necessarily 3D avatar stuff. But it's like once I've paid for it, I've paid for it. So to basically use this Animaze the way that I want to use it, at minimum, I will have to pay $20 US a year. Just to be clear, that is a yearly price. These two up here, and that shows you under a month. It works out to be, excuse me, $1.66 a month. I don't know if you've got to pay, if you're option to pay monthly. They've got, looks like that's one of those tab slider things. And then yes, you get unlimited use, no timers. The $100 one here is when, as you can see, commercial pro streamer commercial rights, and you also get access to the beta access. So even to get the beta access, you've got to fucking pay. So it's like, wait, beta to access, that's testing and shit. You want me to pay to test your fucking product, and if I don't like it and I think it's shit, do I get my money back, or have I just paid $100 for nothing? Because it's like the RuneScape subscription. Once I stop paying that subscription, I no longer can use the product as it's paid for. That money's gone, and I will have nothing to show for it, because I will if I could pay them for, say, if I used the VIP package, which is similar to what my pro license is, because as it says, pro streamer commercial rights. If I want to monetize my Facerig videos, Magix doesn't say to me, wait, did you edit your video with our software? Give us some money. We want a cut. And it's hilarious because I will get to this, because they compare themselves to other subscription services. And it's a ridiculous comparison, sort of thing. Ugh, cold coffee, but I can't get up and just go up and make a cuppa during the middle of a live stream, so I'll go to suck it up. I really need to get like an urn or a kettle or something, maybe a thermos. Oh, maybe just grab some bottles of water next time. But yeah, you got things here like the render with the alpha channel, so I'm guessing that's like transparency or green screen. So like, if you see a game streamer and they're in the webcam in the corner, I don't know if I'd need to do that, because I use, like I'm using now, I'm trying out NVIDIA Broadcast, and that has a virtual green screen. So maybe you get around it by using that with a program like that. We would have to see, because I've had issues with I've been doing some trial and error with OBS, NVIDIA Broadcast, and Discord, and another app called Voice Mod, which I've been meaning to do a review on for some time, because I think it will appeal to a lot of gamer types out there and trolls. It removes the watermark, advanced configuration, for embodiment and tracking. So advanced configuration. So if you're on the free version, there is no customization options like you've seen me fuck around with in Facerig, because there's things like I couldn't work out how to do it, but I realized, in Facerig, like the head roll, the body roll and stuff options, you actually have to turn tracking off to use those. But what I noticed was, so if you adjust, say, Fluffo to go like this, if you look at Facerig, I'll give you an example here. So go to the advanced UI, avatar, customization of behavior, I think, maybe no, or customization. God, now it's going to be one of these ones where scale head. God damn it. Is it? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this one here. You'll remember in the last video, so I was doing things like this, and you could see I'm moving the sliders and nothing was happening. And nothing was coming up. Well, the other day, something actually came up where it says, disable tracker. It won't work without unless you disable the tracker. So it's like, okay, here's the tracking. You will see now Fluffo, he is frozen in time. He's got a little animation. But now see, woohoo, it works. But if I move him back like that, because I want Fluffo to be permanently woohoo. Yes, COVID fat. I've got to lose it. Mostly because I've got another project too. I'm building a cosplay costume for the first time in my life. But if I re-enable tracking, bam, he pops back in. So it doesn't even stick. And I wish I'd known that in the last video. So that's one thing I'm going to point out there. So if you try to pose as, sort of like, we'll just go through, turn off the tracking, head roll. I mean, yeah, it's more like, yeah, it literally is, because if you look there, it is puppets on a string. So it's designed for you to manually, and unless you capture that window, as you can see, people are going to see you doing that. And it is a pain in the ass because there's no keyboard commands for me to go, oh, press 1 to make him shake his head back and forth and crap like that. So there's the tracking. But there's not going to be any of that with the free versions. Okay? You've got to pay at least $20 a month. US dollars. So that works out to almost $100 US. Now, that's also going to include, well, do they bring out DLC packs, stuff like that? If this isn't successful, and again, an online service like RPGs and stuff that you put your money into, what happens if this isn't successful and I pay $100? And in 3 months I go, oh, we didn't make enough money, time to pull the plug. There goes my $100. If I use the VIP package over here, like I use my pro license for Facerig for 5 years, 4 or 5 years, that is going to be $500 US. And again, just because, and their attitude is, if you got the commercial license, you can go on the forums and see this, or maybe I'll look through it and show you on the forums on Steam. They've just got this mental attitude of, it's like, if you stream to YouTube, one viewer, okay, now one viewer, one subscriber watching your video will pay for it. And I'm like, wait, I have 277 subscribers. I make fucking zero. Even when I was monetized, it took me a long time to get my first $30 from Google. And you've got to get $30 on YouTube before you can cash out. $30 US. It can take a very long time to get if you do not have 1 million subscribers. And the average person, if we're looking at Facerig in the forums, are everyday people that want to get on Skype and prank their friends and have a bit of fun. You know, the furries that were like, hey, let's all get on Discord and do a group chat. Oh, look at that. We're all cute furry animal. Role play. There are people who make their own models and things like that. But if you make your own models, tough shit. You've got to pay for them to use them. But it's like Steam Workshop, where that's content going to come from? Do we have to upload them to use them? Do I just drop the files in my folder? Or do I have to pay $1? They get uploaded to the Steam Workshop. And there's a few things that I haven't got answers to yet. And maybe we won't. Now, so I'm not going to make any money. I'm going to be paying for the product. Even if I'm monetized. If I monetize my videos, I'm paying $100 for the VIP package, and there is zero guarantee I'm going to make any money as well. The only money I have made from my YouTube channel is I had a patron donating $5 a month, and I very much appreciate it. Shout out to Helix. One person paying me $5 a month to support me, and I don't do that anymore because I wasn't making content there. And I was like, dude, why are you paying or donating? I appreciate it. I literally had to shut down my Patreon because he just wanted to keep contributing. He's a great guy. Because I was like, look, you're donating to me, and I'm doing nothing at the moment. Or maybe I'll start that back up, or maybe I'll start trying to get more subscribers. And I plan on getting more professional with my videos again. I mean, if you look at my original videos and where I am today, I think I've improved vastly. But I'd have to put in a lot of work, and there's no guarantee I will make the money, even with the $20 a year package. That's the closest. If I use the basic package for 5 years, I'll pay about the same as what Facerig currently costs. But the thing is, with Facerig, for what I've paid for it, or anybody else pays for it right now, there's no restrictions, there's no limitations. And I think part of the reason that this is done is what I said about the pro version of Facerig. They can't fucking prove whether you're using the pro version or not. Most human beings should do the right thing and say, well, I'm not going to monetize this, but I don't even know with the legalities. If I buy a safe or pay for it, like even the $20 a month, what right or whatever have they got to say commercial rights? But I think they've added something into that, you only got to go commercial if you're making at least $500 a month, sort of thing. Might have even been the same with Facerig. But I thought that was reasonable. Even if I'm not making money, I think software like Facerig was worth like $100 or whatever. But as you can see, you can actually pay more for it in Aussie dollars. But if I went for the basically the Facerig equivalent of this Animaze over the same time period, I'd pay $500. Now, here's the other thing I don't like about subscription software. Say RuneScape, another good example. You pay $10 for your month. The same with my phone. I'm on a prepaid plan with my phone. I pay $30 a month for my account. $30 a month, whether I'm using it or not. I spend most of my phone on my own Wi-Fi connection, and I use it for phone calls and texts. And I don't, well, I don't have much data because I don't Netflix and shit when I'm out. But say if I mostly talk to people on Discord, on the internet. I've already got an expensive internet connection. And it's like, well, it's kind of crazy that if the people I need to speak to are on Discord, then I'm going to pick up my phone and ring them. So I might go a month without making a single call or a single text, but I've got to pay that $30 to keep my account going. And on the chance, I've got to make calls. But I make the same amount of calls that I'd probably only pay a couple of dollars a month if I went to the local phone box and rang. So it's, paying for convenience. But the same with RuneScape. You pay for a month and you might pay for a day or 2 days. Same with World of Warcraft. And this is why I think it's insane. But say something comes up, an emergency, like I've got to fly to another state because one of my children are ill, or one of my parents need my help, or something like that. Or just I get too busy. I've got other shit going on. It's like, well, I've just paid, like with Facerig now. Some stuff came up and I didn't get to go ahead with my plans for using Facerig. It's been a couple of years, literally, since I used it. So I pay that $100 and then something comes up tomorrow. Bam, there's $100 gone. Because I'm not going to, I might go a year and not be able to use it. Even if I do it monthly. It's going to be less of a sting. But if I have a monthly option, $8.33 a month. Thing. I've tried to get some clarification too on this, like the 99-cent import thing here. If I make a model, rig it, new skin, I import it, upload it. I don't even know how the hell this importing works. Do we upload it to their cloud? Do we just drop it on my hard drive and I can use it? Does the software detect it and go, oh, new files detected, or you've got an import button. You want to import it? Pay $1. Now, making my raccoon skin, for example, that was a work in progress because I've got to make sure I can't just take a skin and trace over it. I've got to be like, okay, is the color around the eyes sitting in the right place? Are those lines sitting there? I want it to look like a raccoon. So I go look at photos of raccoons and I get out of the Photoshop doing layers. Hours and hours and hours of work went into that raccoon skin, for example, and it's not even finished. Then I've got to pay 99 cents on this to, import that. I don't know if it's for the skin, the avatar, or all. Does it cover the whole kit and caboodle? They don't specify that sort of stuff from what I can tell. But I can bring up Facerig, and like right now, I could get this guy's skin, draw on it and stuff, reload the program, drop the skin into the folder. Drop the skin in the folder, reload the program, and bam, it'll load up and I can check it out in real time. So how does it work with Facerig? Animaze. If I want to palette swap a skin or I want to make a modification to it, because you even see Facerig does it themselves. You got the one model and then you've got different versions. Fluffo is a good example where they even have a different model. It's the one avatar, but look, this one he's got goggles. This one he's got different colors. Hell, this one looks like a panda. And it's the same for all these characters. So it's like, so if I decide, you know what? I've got to modify it. It's like, well, can I modify it and work on it? Is there an offline tool where I can test all this shit out before I put it into Facerig? Because what if you make a model, you animate it, you put bones in it, you animate it, do all the stuff you've got to do. You put it into Facerig, you pay your 99 cents. Because it's not just commercial artists who do this thing. There are people who like modeling and stuff, or who make games and things, just as a hobby. Like with me, this is why I've never put much effort into making money and shit on this thing, because I'm not materialistic. And I do this stuff for myself. If you watch it and you enjoy it, that's great. But I do this because I like doing it. It is really done for me. I'm not going to, make any illusions and have any illusions of anything like that about it. So is it like, am I going to have to pay 99 cents every time I import a skin to check it out? If that's the case, man, I could end up paying $100 just for my skin because I've got to import it until it works. Or I want to change something, I might make a skin and after a while, I'm not happy about that. And it's like, what if I want to add a prop? I want to make a hat or something like that I want to use on my character. Then I've got to pay for that too. Where are these Steam Workshop avatars, backgrounds, and props coming from? Steam Workshop. What do we all know about Steam Workshop? User created content. People like me making stuff. I don't even upload a shit to the Steam Workshop. Usually, if I do stuff for games and things, I do upload it directly to the websites like StarMade, but StarMade the ships I bothered to put out there for the public to use. I uploaded it directly to the site. You know what? It didn't cost me a fucking cent. And I only paid $10 for that game. I bought it 4 times because I bought a copy for some friends and things as well. Because again, if I like software, I will support it. But then again, StarMade, but don't get me started on that. So how does that work? There's just too many unanswered questions for this. Then we've got another problem. We had the same problem with Facerig, and you see people complain because there's no Mac support. This is what's crazy. Facerig works on Windows. It doesn't work on Mac or Apple's OS. But if you see down here, iPhone. Use iPhone as your face tracker. No mention of Mac support. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But with Facerig, there's Windows support, but no Mac support. There's iPhone support for Facerig, or it's on the Apple Store. But you see this phone, that's Android. So I can use an Android. I can't use my Android phone with Facerig, and I'm guessing it's going to be the same. There's no mention of Android there. I'm an Android phone owner, so for my $100, if I wanted to use the phone as my tracker, I have to go buy a bloody overpriced iPhone. But if I'm a Mac person, if I have Mac products across, well, that iPhone, I've got to use it with a Windows fucking PC with Facerig because there is no Mac support. And it's like, if that's going to be the case here too, it's going to be insane. It's crazy. That's sort of my take on it. But here we go. Yeah, the commercial rights, $500 a month. Okay. An enterprise license is required for any business. So they've got an enterprise license, but it isn't even listed there. Which I think they got away before because they had a product called Facerig Studio. And that's like the Photoshop of Facerig, where you can go in and rig your models and everything. And you've got like a professional environment and you can use Facerig, I guess, to make TV shows or commercials or whatever. So, and I'm not the only one asking these questions too, because again, we've got to go to the forums. Look, from a one-time fee to a subscription. Here's the one I answer, because here's another important thing. There's a good thing about Facerig is, like most software I use, because this is another thing that's important about the software I use. Sometimes I don't want distractions and things. I've got to make sure I'm focused on what I'm doing. And I will right-click my network connection and disable my network adapter, or I'll just straight out pull out the Ethernet plug and work offline. Because I tend to make a lot of my content offline. When most of the things I stream are things like this, where I do a rant just off the top of my head, it's like just easy to go, quick, live stream to YouTube. But there's a lot of content that I will make, like especially those shitty music videos I do, where I make and edit those offline. I don't need an internet connection to edit images in Paint Shop, or I don't need an internet connection to work in Vegas software or other Magic products that I use. Even my Steam library, I can switch Steam to offline mode, have no internet connection, and yeah, sure, if it's a multiplayer game, you're not going to be able to play it. You need to have that connection to Steam for some of them, or you've got to have the actual game company's own login network stuff for it to function. And you can see everybody make it a one-time purchase, another money grab remaster, blah blah blah. But yes, this is where I asked, where it's like, wait, I'm pretty sure I've just seen it. Wait, I could have sworn. Oh yeah, there we go. Does Animaze work offline? You can see Rabid Raccoon. It took a while. We had to bump it a couple of times before we got a response. And yes, in order to use Animaze, you will need an active internet connection. Without an active internet connection, Animaze's tracker will not initialize and you won't be able to control your avatars. So basically, if you're not connected, you give them $100 and if your internet's not connected, software will not work for you. It's people like me, you will not be able to use it. And you know what? The internet can go down for various reasons too, because it's like my ISP. I love my ISP, been with them for years. I generally have what's called, 99.9% uptime. But I'm also a night owl, so I can work, like you can see on my desktop here, it's 1:30 a.m. in the morning. And around about this time of day, because I'm a night owl, I can sit up all night working on projects and things. My ISP will usually at this time of night, and sometimes during the day, you never know what's happening. There could be roadworks up the road or something like that. But something can disrupt your internet and it can go down for a few hours. What if I'm in the middle of making a video using Animaze and I paid my $100? And a good example would be my friend at the moment in New South Wales. Her entire street is having serious internet issues because nearly everybody in her street was with Telstra, and for some reason or another, their exchange is having problems. Their internet is unreliable. My internet goes down with Facerig, I can keep working. I can keep using PaintShop Pro. I can keep using Facerig. I can keep using Vegas, OBS if I want to use it for recording shadow play. Basically, everything on my computer keeps on working, including my games and shit. The only thing that doesn't work is Netflix, YouTube, because you need an internet connection because they're online services. I have to check because I had voice mod, and I was a bit annoyed with that because the original one, because I'm onto voice mod 2 now, and again I got to review it. But that was another good example there. I have a license for that, a lifetime license for it, the program, and that was another one. It's like if you start up the program and you even got your license key put into it, and you didn't have an internet connection, you only got the free voices coming up. You had to have your internet connected, and then your license voices would show. And it's another one of these ones too. Most of the times I mess around with voice mod, I am using it to voice over characters or something like that, or to be a bit of a troll in videos. I will not troll, that's the wrong word to use, but I use it for character voices or whatever in offline content, in videos I'm producing offline. I mean, a lot of stuff I make doesn't even make it onto YouTube, and you'll never see it. And sometimes it's just for my own shits and giggles. I generally amuse myself sometimes. But, and I said, yeah, it's unsurprising. It's a disappointment. I'm worried as well that their thinking is, oh, well, with Facerig, we did humble bundles and, sales petered off. How can we milk them for money? And I think that, and again, I'll see if I can find it where, all right, let's have a look at Animaze anyway, this video here. Unfortunately, can't pause it and stuff. But look, there's Fluffo. Okay, you're going to recognize a lot of the characters. But again, look at the demos here in the corners. The only one I can see difference is the neck-bearded guy when he's like, does the tongue out. Oh, wow, you can have a chair now. It maybe looks a bit better with the avatars, but again, this is an edited trailer. I don't know how easy it is because like Facerig gets pain in the ass. You've got to slick the bones. And if you look at my last video, me putting the hat on, it was a pain, but they make it look in this video like, oh, you just click things and the glasses are there, this and that, and stuff. But if you look, a lot of these characters are Facerig characters. They're characters that already exist in Facerig that people like me already own. That would be, well, when I say own, they come as part of the product. And they don't look much better than Facerig. The interface, if you watch what they've got there, backgrounds, avatars, the UI is the same thing. But look in the corner there. Look here. Gold shop. Fucking in-game store in an app. Okay? But you look at the controls and things, backgrounds, avatars, blah, blah, blah. They are... It's basically a more streamlined interface for Facerig. Now, they say it's all new software built from the ground up. That's what they've been doing for the last 2 years. This is why they haven't worked on Facerig, because they've been working on this thing. The facial expressions look the same because again, look at the dude here. Pay attention to the people's faces in the camera, and look at their faces. Like even if they're not smiling, the characters are smiling. the mouths move in sync to what the person's talking, but the expressions don't necessarily match. It's a bit like a Facerig. Yeah, the animation looks smooth, but it's like, wait a second. So it's like a more streamlined interface, or nerfed down like a mobile app. Man, why does everybody have to go with... We're using desktop computers, man. We don't want frickin' phone shit on our desktop. I've got a mouse, a keyboard. I've got a lot more power and things. I don't need everything dumbed down. Yes, it helps to dumb things down during a stream if I can click a button and have a character wave his arms and stuff like that, where we've seen you click it and it's like, I'm doing these things I forgot. You can't see me because I'm not on here. But yeah, you've got the that button. Where is it? Not tracking. I forget where it is, but there's that button that brings up the extra controls where you can have, like Fluffy here, get his hand and go, and it's really just derpy or poke his tongue out. They show you, I don't know if it's the guy pressing the button or what, but you see the guy sticks his tongue out. The character sticks his tongue out. But it's like, well, what? Does it see my tongue now if I poke it out, or do I got to still press a button somewhere? And most people were like me. They're just like, you give me a Facerig 2.0, a standalone product, just a better version, and that's great. But so apparently they said we'll use another product. They talked about the reason that they're taking things off the store for Facerig when they get rid of it is because they've got third-party licenses for other software they've used, which I guess is, again, the crap in this folder here. Oops, wait, I can't get it. In this folder here, the prerequisites, the virtual cam driver, maybe the mic driver. And to give you an example too of like the pricing, let's look at this piece of software because I've started looking for alternatives. I don't hope I spelled it right, but here we go. Program called F-Clone, which basically does the same thing. I might actually run it because I've got the demo. More realistic sort of looking avatars, but they do have cartoon ones. I've got the trial of it. It came out in 2017, so it's a bit newer. But it's not just, you can use it with a webcam. I'll get rid of that because I don't want to be copyright striked or anything like that. But yeah, okay, hang on. Let me just load this up. Got to close a few things. Okay, I think it's on the other... I think it's on the desktop under here. Actually, no. Damn it. Okay, maybe I hope I haven't deleted it. Yeah, here we go. F-Clone sample. We'll shut down Facerig here just to make sure there's no issues. Okay, so hopefully that is going to show because I'm doing desktop capture, so it should. So here we go. Oh, look at that. You can use an Xbox One Connect, a Connect 2. No, since I don't know, this is a trial or a webcam. So let's select the webcam. And again, this is the free demo. It's limited. But look at this. I can actually set it up to match my face dimensions. I won't do that. Gives you lighting. You can pick your resolution. I'm just going to max resolution. Yeah, I haven't really looked at all the settings and stuff, but like, yeah, I can define parameters like how wide my mouth is. But we'll just go with the default settings here because we will see yeah, like that. So you get your face in, you've got this thing over here where you've got to this is the other problem too. You've got to sort of position yourself in the right spot. A bit like when you used to do a connect. It's going to be a bit awkward. But you can see it's got the tracking dots like Facerig has. Okay? And then it tells you when you're okay, and then you click start calibrating. And then you go through this calibration process. I guess this is a trial, so I've got to do it every time. Hopefully this won't take too long. But I've got to do a neutral expression, sorry. I don't care if this is accurate at all. But voila! We've now got a 3D avatar. Now, as you can see, this is the motion capture one because not only can we use it for webcams, because as you can see, you've got mocap down the bottom here, and you've got video. Let's see if we can make it go full screen. Okay. I don't know how this will work because it's like, yeah, you got to get your face right in the middle with this. Poor lighting too, because this one probably wants better lighting also. Hello, how are you? Look at that. it's like, yeah, following my mouth now. As long as it can register, it'll be like, hello, how are you? My name is Rabid. And all that sort of straight up things. But then if we go to video, this is where it becomes like Facerig. You click video, but see, I can use it to motion capture stuff and then convert them to video game cameras or 4D cinema or whatever. There are other apps I can, export to. Come on. Why aren't you moving over? You're going to make a liar out of me. Let's see if we, there we go. So there we go. Here we go. We've now got basically the Facerig version. Again, this is going to be poor lighting because I have got better results using this. So we can only use this guy here. And yeah, I can change the background. Oh, there we go, background. Oh wait, but yeah, we can rotate. And look at that. If I change the way the character is sitting, again, I might have to go. See, I can rotate, and he stays like that. I can click load background photo. Yeah, there we go. 2 seconds. Got my own background in there. No faffing about. And as I said, you can't use that because it'll come up activation code. But yes, lighting and stuff like that. I've done testing, and trust me, it works better. It'll probably also work better if I do it. But even then, I've noticed the way the faces match and everything, the motion capture is better than what Facerig is giving me. I'd love to see how this works with the Kinect. The thing is, this costs $60 or $58 on their website, US, compared to what Animaze's face subscription services. And here we go. Look at that. It's gone a bit dicky down there. Hello. So if we try, you can see it matches me up yet. Let's see if we can go full screen. Hi, diddly doodly. But yeah, you can zoom him in. Oops, no, it's not going to do it again. Yeah, it doesn't like to go full screen at the moment. So you can zoom him in. Sort of stuff that you can do in Facerig. You got body motion, which is if you do body motion, it's like, yeah, if you look at him, you go body motion and he stops moving and just the head will move. It's different to Facerig, but it's again very different. And the same thing. So they've got like realistic, which is like retargeted, and animated, just like Facerig, but a different program. And you get a lot more sort of real-time feedback here, I guess. And yeah, derby avatars. But you know what? I can go and get, say, a model from my game and drop it in there and use that character. So I can make promotional materials with this much easier from what I've seen. But doing it, I don't know if this is related to the Cinema 4D or whatever it's called. And you can see I can record videos, and I no doubt can broadcast to my webcam as well. Maybe I can't. Maybe I can do things. I haven't looked into it. But this is like, there are competing programs out there. But the thing about this is I pay $58 and that's it. I own it. I can use it as I see fit. No watermarking, no crap. Things like that. Hell, even the demo doesn't have a watermark on it. And it's like, well, this is competing. Animaze has got to compete with stuff like this. But they're not listening. And then it's like, well, does Animaze even do live 2D? Where I don't do live 2D, a lot of users do. But yeah, that's not a good example because, like I said, poor lighting and stuff. I have done other tests with it, and it works quite good. But yeah, they've got an iPhone app, and as I said, too bad if I'm an Android user. And you can see it's just literally Facerig on. It's just funny that it's like Anima by Facerig. No, it's by Holotech. That's the name of your company. Are you changing the name of the company? It even says Holotech Studios. God, even this crap comes up. No, I'm not saving cookies and crap. Oh, let's go to news. Latest news about Animaze. Okay, now you can tell, mate, they're probably going to target a lot of Japanese. Oh, look at that. A lot of Asian stuff because Asians love them too, live 2D characters, I think. Let's do zoom. Oh, look at this. Here's how we get to the comparing. Here, right here. If you look here, 13% the cost of Streamlabs annual subscription. So they're comparing themselves to Streamlabs. What is Streamlabs? No, I'm using OBS at the moment. I'm using the Streamlabs version. So let's go to Streamlabs. They have a service called Prime. Now, we've seen what Animaze gives you for your money. The essential toolkit for pro streamers. Now, let's be clear. If I use the free version of Streamlabs OBS, like I am now, you can see there are no OBS. There are no OBS. Let's get up the old Facerig again, just in case we want to get an avatar up. And again, no signs of my pro license, and you're not going to see the pro bit on the loading screen. Pro, it pops up. But if you are making content or you're streaming, nobody's going to see that because you've already got the software started. Hey. Okay, so they're comparing it to this program. Now, again, I'm using Streamlabs OBS right now. I sometimes use NVIDIA Share. Depends. I do use different programs depending on what I'm doing. The thing is, you don't see any Streamlabs OBS branding on my stream. You don't see OBS lets me set any resolution I want. It lets me choose things. But when you get this Prime one, it tells you it is aimed. It makes it clear. Prime is for commercial users. They don't want money from people like me, people who are just using their software to try and stream, show their games that aren't making money and shit. So yeah, you pay, you get customized stream with pro themes. Well, you know what? I've noticed this comes with themes. I don't use them, but they're for free. But I guess you get more professional or more feature-filled themes and overlays. But I've noticed there are free options. Multi-stream. So right now I can stream to YouTube. I could end this and start streaming to Twitch. So I can only stream to one service at a time with Streamlabs OBS. Same with NVIDIA Share though. And that's it. I don't want to. I mean, if I wanted to, I could get around that by streaming to Twitch, or which is now Prime Gaming. And from Prime, I can get Prime once I finish, or Twitch. We'll stick with Twitch because that's what everybody knows. If I stream to Twitch, which does give restrictions and things compared to YouTube, this is why I like using YouTube. But I can stream to Twitch, and then when Twitch is finished, I have an option there. I haven't done it in a while, but there used to be an option there for it to automatically transfer my video to YouTube for me. Again, for free. I have an Amazon Prime account, but I haven't seen if that gives me any extra features with Twitch streaming. So, but with this, as it says, I can stream to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. I can stream to multiple platforms at once. You got all these apps here. So there's got a lot of, I think there's free apps too, but there's other apps you can put in there. You can tailor your page. Yeah, so you can tailor things to your brand. Merch. You can put in merching. See, shop directly from your website. It is designed for people who are making money from their streams. Obvious monies. This would appeal to people like the ninjas of the world, the PewDiePies, even Linus Tech Tips. The dude has merch and shit. LTTstore.com. You're welcome, Linus. Free promo for you, mate. It's that sort of people. It's not for people like me. They're lucky if we make $5 a fucking month, which I'm lucky to make $5 a month because I'm making zero. It adds features and functionalities where basically what what Animaze is giving you is you're getting locked behind a paywall. Okay? They also compare it to Zoom. Now, I'm not very familiar with Zoom, and their annual one, but even look at this, 8% of a Photoshop-only annual subscription. And again, you know who uses Photoshop? Commercial people. Because everybody else that's using it non-commercially are pirated the fuck out of it. That is something Animaze really needs to take notice of. That's what I think it is. Like, they're trying to force people to use the pro license instead of paying $20 and just using it as they want. Look up Facerig content, for example, on YouTube and see who is using it. See how many people are actually building a whole channel around it, monetizing it, and doing Facerig all the time. And hearing this new term, I've only just started hearing because of anime, it's called VTubers. So I'm guessing these furry types that are making an online character. It's sort of what you'd see in 80s and 90s sci-fi, where it's like the Japanese pop star that's a CGI product. Where people treat them like they're real people, but it's like freaking just a computer program. And the pricing per year, but it's the market. It's the market. Oh, Streamlabs annual subscription, $149 a year versus $19.90 a year. That is a lie for the simple fact that it's not 13% of Streamlabs annual subscription, because to compete with, because what you're going to compare to, if you can even get close to Streamlabs annual subscription, is Streamlabs annual subscription is the VIP subscription in Animaze, $100 a year. So they're using a lot of this bullshit wordplay and stuff like that to do. So Animaze is free to download, can be used forever without a subscription. You can use it without a subscription, true, but you're going to have to fucking pay if you don't want to get kicked out every 90 minutes and you want to remove the watermark and you want to import your avatars without having to pay every fucking time. But yeah, the Photoshop, man. The only people I know who use Photoshop on a subscription are graphic designers that are working in an office where they go to a client like a bank like ANZ or a company and they do ad productions and things like that. Or, it is professional graphic designers. The comparison is absolutely bullshit. They should be comparing it to maybe Cyberlink, Cybercam 7 or something like that. But again, the products that I can compare Animaze to, honestly, are pay once, own forever until you decide to upgrade to the new version. And then it says, changes to subscription options. Oops, we've accidentally hit the back button. Damn new mouse. Where it's like here. What was that? It said, here are the changes we're making to Animaze subscriptions before launch. So they've sort of listened to people where they're like doubling virtual camera session time to 90 minutes because people said that's ridiculous because you know what? Originally, it was 45 minutes. No shit. Less than an hour, just a bit over half an hour, you would get kicked out of Animaze. Can you imagine being on Discord talking to your friends? Me and my friends, we can sit there, especially on the weekends, for hours, literally hours. We can sit there all day long. I mean, hell, last night, I was talking to a friend just in general chat. We were up to 5 or 6 in the morning. Now, I can imagine these role players and stuff. They want to do that. And it's like, oh, hang on, guys, my 30 minutes is up or 45 minutes is up. Now it's like, oh, guys, I can go for an hour and a half. I've met a lot of these types and they can spend a whole day on there like a fucking job, sort of thing. And it's like, you only give them 90 minutes. But isn't that nice of them? They've taken it from 45 to 90 minutes because they half listen to their fucking beta test. Wow, 60 frames per second output through virtual webcam. Wow, we get 60 frames per second in 2020 when we're running 2080s and even 2060s and 3080s and better hardware than we had when Facerig came along. I thought I could do a 60 frames per second capture in Facerig to begin with. Let's see if we can find in the user interface here. Graphics, maybe. I know there's somewhere where it's performance, maybe. Oh, look at that. 60 frames per second capture. They're selling it as a fucking A+, as if it's something good. Yeah, look at that. Your freaking 5-6-year-old software, 60 frames per second. I haven't tested it, but as we can see, that looks fairly smooth. It'd probably be smoother if I wasn't streaming. There is just so much bullshit. But like I said, I'm not the only person who's seeing this. But yeah, to compare yourself to Streamlabs, I mean, my God, honestly, Streamlabs isn't raping me in the ass. And that would be worth it if I was making money. Even if I was making $500 a month, it would be better for me to be putting that fucking money into something like Streamlabs, which is going to benefit me at my investment, than Animaze. And as I said somewhere else, $500. You know what costs $500? My GTX 970. You know what costs $500? My RTX 2060 several years later. You know what cost $500? A fraction of my motherboard RAM processor upgrade kit for my desktop, which I spent about $700 on. And I get the same sort of lifespan out of those as $500 for VIP Facerig. And you can say, but you can go to the basic one. But like I said, that comes with its catches. It really does. And you look at, the free, the $20 one, no commercial right. So, like I said, if I'm one of these people who gets deluded and goes, I will spend $100 because I'm going to be the next PewDiePie, but with virtual puppets. I could spend $500 over 5 years, the same as what I'd pay for a fucking GPU that will last me for 5 years. That not only can I stream with, produce video content with, run my desktop with, I can play video games with, that I don't have to pay another cent on. I get this software that is a gamble. I mean, any subscription service is a gamble. But you know what? Companies like Streamlabs, they're mainstream. It's not just furries using it. It's not just wannabes like me using it. Every man and his dog that's into gaming and streaming uses OBS now. Same with NVIDIA Share. You know, listen, does NVIDIA Shares thing come up? Oh, look at that. Alt-Z, bam. It's built into my video card. And that's got a whole bunch of shit in it. And that costs me nothing. Maybe you should compare your free VIP to NVIDIA Shadowplay/Share. If you're going to compare to Zoom and fucking Photoshop. Oh, look at this. You want to compare to Photoshop and their subscription? Oh, look at this. We've got Corel Paint Shop Pro. Hate this new homepage bit. Oh, look at that. Amazing. I can tell you what, it didn't cost me $500 to use this for 5 years. If you want to make comparisons to Photoshop, I can make a comparison to Paint Shop Pro, because Paint Shop Pro to me is a closer comparison to Facerig than a Paint Shop Pro subscription is. You just, what is up with you, Holotech? I think Holotech's based in Romania. And it's like, is there some sort of communication problem here? You have post after post. That's the thread I did. Let's go back to discussions. From a one-time fee to a subscription. See, I was looking forward to this until I found out you have to pay a subscription. Excited, yet not so sure about this. One-time purchase. Another money grab remaster. People saying about glasses, because there was problems with Facerig. I mean, I showed it in the last video where, you know, where I was getting the droopy eyes in Facerig when I turn on the eye tracking stuff with the eyelids and things and the pupils. And you got people who wear glasses that it screws up. And people are like, well, if I wear glasses, is it going to work? Because we had problems in Facerig with that. And again, you know, people had problems and things didn't get fixed. Now, here's the one I'm going to defend them on, okay? Why not update Facerig? Because it has been 5 years. It's a different engine. They've used a new engine. It's meant to be all in-house software now. But even though it's in-house software, that looks like they've tried to keep it as much like Facerig as before. Because the tracking and stuff changed. But it's like I've said, well, come on, guys, you know, look, in a couple of posts like this, it's like, it's 5 years old. You can't expect them to keep them making it, sort of thing. But yeah. But the discussions is asking questions, because it's just, if you go through here, see, microtransaction and subscription help. Because look, as we saw on this page, on their site, there is a damn gold shop. Gold shop. Simplified. So I guess we have to wait and see until this shit is actually launched, and we'll try it. I will try it. I will do a review video of it, and we'll see how this goes. But I'm telling you now, it's a subscription service. That is alienating all your problems, and I think they're going to try and pull a Rockstar here. And what I mean by a Rockstar is a lot of subscription services, like if you play something like, say, Star Wars The Old Republic, I've just started playing that. It's a 9-year-old game. I haven't dropped any money on it because I've got to play it. But I mean, look, Dauntless. Dauntless on Epic Games is free to play. I've already dropped $16 on that because I've played the game that many hours. I mean, you've seen the videos. I think that was a fair price. But it's not subscription. I feel like I was more like donating that. And you know what? I got some skins and some perks to the game. And it's a co-op game. There's no PvP. So it's not pay to win. I'm not getting an advantage over anybody by doing so. And if anything, beginning co-op, if I got a perk, it contributes to anybody who plays with me. Because if a random plays with me and I've got a perk, and even then the perk I think I've seen was just I got a escalation booster. And I think they just gave me some extra rewards. And you know what the rewards you get? It's the same shit the monsters drop. And if you watch my videos, look how quickly we're getting the escalations. To me, it was just donating to the developers to say, thank you for making a product I play. I'm probably never going to pay another cent. They're $16. That's it. Sort of thing. And it gives you the hunt pass. And the hunt pass, it just gives me cosmetic shit. Like I get extra cosmetic stuff, and maybe you forget these coins. Those coins are just to unlock more cosmetics. But that's it. I'm not going to pay another cent now. But you know, if they release Dauntless as a standalone game where I could unlock everything as I play, all the cosmetics, I probably would have paid a one-off $60 price, maybe more $30 to $40 for it. But I feel like I've got my money's worth with it. But see, something like Facerig and Animaze, I want to use that long term. I might stop playing Dauntless tomorrow. That's why I wouldn't pay $100 for a game like that. Doom Eternal, even that's $100 game, but I got it on sale, I think, for $50 not long after it came out. But yeah, I wouldn't have paid $100 for it. I still think Doom 2016 is a better game. But $50, Borderlands 3, same thing, $50, got all the DLCs. And that's it, I own them. Even if Gearbox goes bust tomorrow, I can still use them and stuff. Same as if Holotech goes bust tomorrow, I can still use Facerig. I just won't be able to buy the goddamn DLC for it. Not that I said like I've got any plans for it. It is a big clusterfuck, and I think it's something that people need to look at. Yeah, this one's been locked. I've heard people deleting things, but I think that's because some people have been getting real nasty about that. So that's been locked. I don't know why. But yeah, there is a lot of negatives, and I have not really seen anybody. Like I said, the people. Oh wow, I didn't see that one before. Cannabis leaf, and then you got to think there's going to be a lot of kids using this software. There's going to be a lot of kids using this software. So we've got some new characters here. The bomb. Oh, it's the dog. Geez, I wonder. Animaze. Did you pay the person who owns Dog, the original dog, the Dog memes thing? Did you license them? Are you paying him an annual subscription for using his dog for the last fucking 5 years? If you want, I can find it for you. Should we look up the Wikipedia page about the dog? I think she's about 14 years old now. But you're using the likeness of somebody else's dog. Have you paid Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton for using their likenesses? Are you paying PewDiePie? I mean, look, let's bring this up. Okay, I think this is going to make a good point too. You paying Donald Trump? Oh, wait, let me guess. Donald Trump here? Are you paying him for his likeness for the last 5 years or however long it's been? Maybe it's more like 3 years. Well, 2016, so 4 years. This was from the last US election. What about Hillary Clinton here? Clinton here. Are you paying for her likeness? Are you still paying Trials Fusion? Or is that some of your licenses too, that once your licenses run out? Are you paying us annual subscription to Valve for using the Team Fortress characters? What about PewDiePie? Does PewDiePie get a check from you every year that somebody is using Facerig in his avatar? Or is it just a deal where he gets paid promotion? You see how fucked up it is when things get turned around and can be brought back onto you? You really need to think of it, because here's the thing. Some companies can pull off a subscription model and it works. Because some people will feel like, yes, a subscription model, I'm getting what I pay for. But what about you? Your own little character here, Fluffo, wants to ask you a question. Are you listening to your main player base, or is it going to be the 2% that buy shark cards that do the subscription? Because I got off topic on a tangent there, where I've even seen game developers, one in particular on Twitter, I wish I could bring it up now, where he goes, he hates microtransactions and shit because only 2% of the player base buy it. So it locks 98% of the player base out of content. It is like GTA. If you want two sports cars in GTA, the way they cost, you've got to buy shark card bucks, and to buy those two sports cars, it'll cost you $100. Or you know what, you can grind for a year and fucking inside the game. The 2% is where the money comes from. The single bloke or woman at home who works all the time, has a couple of $1,000, no kids, disposable income, no responsibilities as such. They've got money coming out of their ass because they've got a good paying job, and they don't give a damn about dropping $100 a week on a game or $100 on a sub for a novelty puppet toy. You're going to alienate a lot of your customers. And the thing is, all your fan base, you might as well say too, because a lot of people in the comments, they said they're the ones who go pay $20 to use this. They will happily give you $20 to be able to use this, a basic version in Discord and Skype and stuff like that. Bam, you're going to make money. But if you're expecting them to pay 99 cents, get it for free, have a watermark, they're not going to give you nothing. So you've got to be banking on YouTubers like me. Well, not like me, more like PewDiePie and Ninja, like I've made out before. The minority of YouTubers and streamers who make a lot of money. And I can tell you now, unless they decide to make a hardcore channel based purely around your characters and software, this is going to be a novelty for them. They will use it for 5 minutes and then they're going to forget about it and move on. I bet you had some deal with PewDiePie where, oh, you put PewDiePie in there. I'll probably go back. I haven't seen if he's made a video with it, but I can't even recall seeing him. I'm not a PewDiePie subscriber. I don't watch his stuff, but I'd like to go back through his history and see how often he used Facerig. I bet he used it for 5 minutes. But haha, look guys, it's me Felix. I'm in the fucking software. I am in Facerig. Hey, Zig Head, kill the Jews, and all that sort of shit. Which, yes, of course, is like PewDiePie. I am joking because I understand how jokes and context and shit works. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm just taking the piss out of PewDiePie there. You really got to have Holotech. You've really got to rethink what you're doing here. You are at serious risk of shooting yourself in the foot. Maybe you will get from that maybe 1 or 2% of gamers. And I can imagine now, if I've had to get a 2060 and an AMD Ryzen 5 and build a half-decent computer, because, I mean, I've got to take into account my case, my hard drives, my M.2 drive. I've got a couple of mechanical drives, my case, fans, all that. My computer is quite a decent rig. It's not high-end. I mean, there's better processors than the Ryzen 5. I mean, there's already better shit coming out. I mean, my video card, it cost me $500, but Australian dollars. But, you know, I could have got a 2070, 2080. I got what I suits me, and there's the 30 series out a year later after I bought my card. I'm not complaining. I'm happy. My card's still working. It runs games. I've never been an early adopter of tech unless something's really good. And it's like I said, you know, 30 series RTX was a gimmick. I knew that, and I said, you got to wait till the next generation. That's when shit will get real and serious. If you want to become a commercial product like Photoshop and get those hundreds of dollars a year, you want to make the big bucks, go commercial. Go get your fucking Facerig Studio and make it the 3D animated avatar motion capture shit that's more like F-clone than Facerig, and go target the companies. Go to Industrial Light and Magic if they're still around. Go to fucking Amblin Studios or Steven Spielberg's companies or whatever like that. Go to Hollywood. Go to production companies. That's where the money is. Because isn't it going to be sad if you have like $100 a year subscription and you get like 10 fucking subscribers? I'm sorry, yeah, 10. Hey, it's 8. If you get 10 subscribers, imagine if you got 10 subscribers. Say you get 500,000 people buy a $20 to $50 Facerig casual user. I mean, people will pay $50 for this if you give them enough content, if it was standalone. I know I would. I would even, like I said, because I use it to make a lot of YouTube content. I'm not just fucking around on webcams with it. If you gave me a standalone program that I can use like Facerig, I'd happily pay you $100 to $150 US even. But I'm not going to pay giving you $100 a fucking year on a gamble. So you could have 500,000 to 1 million people if you marketed it as well. And if you had any problems with Facerig as well, I think it's because it's poorly marketed. And like I said, I only found out about Animaze by accident because I went back to the Facerig store page because I've started wanting to use Facerig again. And that's how I found out about Animaze. If I had never done that, I would never know about your shitty product that you're bringing out. It really comes off as being greed. And if you look at history, Electronic Arts would be a good example because this, while it's software, a lot of people can think of it as a video game. They think of it in the same terms of Doom more than they do Photoshop. People like me can look at it as a tool, like a video editing program or image editing program. But you've got these kids, teenagers, and just everyday people. It's a toy for them. It is a game. They're not going to want to put money on it to the level that you want them to put money on it. It's almost like the cinemas. They're like, well, less people are coming to the cinemas these days, but instead of reducing the prices, doing promotions and getting more people into the cinema, making cinemas more appealing again, where people can sit at home on their ass on a big screen TV, we're going to charge the people still coming to the cinemas more. So instead of $12 a ticket and getting 1,000 people into the cinemas, we're going to get 10 people in the cinemas and charge them $30 each. You're making less money even though you're selling the product for more. And I think that's what you're going to be doing here with Animaze. So you want to hope that you get people on the hook, mate, that are big bucks, because if your VIP subscription shit, if your even basic $20 a year subscription shit doesn't work out, and it's even like $20 doesn't seem like much to you. In some countries, that's a lot of money. $20 US a year to me, probably not a lot. But again, it is a lot of money if I have, for some reason, only use Facerig a couple of times a year, like I've been with Facerig currently. And I've got like a fair few hours in Facerig that even Steam doesn't count. And it's just on principle. As I was saying, look at Electronic Arts. Look at all these other companies where they've copped shit for pulling this stuff by taking programs that were standalones and bringing in-game stores, microtransactions, subscriptions. People are getting sick of it. How many subscriptions? I mean, that's the joke with like streaming services like Netflix, Amazon. Look up Red Letter Media Holotech. They did a video on this on the streaming services. But they poked out how there's like 100 different streaming services. It can't last. Because if I went out and bought every video streaming service that had every show I want to watch, it would literally cost me more than I make a fucking year. I've got to pay for a Netflix subscription, YouTube Premium subscription, Amazon Prime Video subscription, Hulu, CBS. A lot of these aren't even available in my country. CBS Plus, Paramount Pictures, Disney Plus. A billion freaking subscription services. And you know what? They can't all survive. They can't all survive. There are already some that have gone under, and there will be more to come. Because they all got greedy. They all, like, instead of going, hey, let's share the profits with Netflix, we're going to rip off Netflix. We're going to take all that stuff off them. Oh, Netflix is okay. Well, we'll make new content. Well, you know what? Netflix doesn't have to worry because I'm already subscribed to them. As long as they produce content I want to watch, I'll keep subscribing to them. I'll keep giving money. I've also got an Amazon Prime Video account, subscription and an Anime Labs. And those three services alone cover what I want. So when I say I'm not into subscription service, it's different. But you know what? Those subscriptions, my wife can use them. I mean, that's the thing I noticed with F-Clone, I think it was, is it's a bit like Netflix. I can basically have 100 people in my house watching Netflix. Okay? My subscription with Facerig, especially if, say, I'm working with others on my YouTube channel and they've got their computers, do they got to buy their own subscription? Unity, they've got things called seats, where if I need somebody to come and use my software, I can buy a seat. But then you're going to go, oh, it's commercial. Well, you know what? My little YouTube channel like this, I might have a friend help me out with some work or something like that, but we're not commercial. He's doing me a favor. But I'd say, what, I've got to go buy him $100 subscription? There was somewhere where they've got the licensing here, but they say it's like, oh, $58. Here we go. $58 personal. Personal use only, single PC. Comparable to Facerig and what I assume is Animaze. But then I can pay what Facerig costs with a pro license, and I can install it to 2 PCs. So say, for example, my friend Helix, I can go, hey, Helix, here's a license, mate. Get on your Discord with me and let's make a video using this. And I don't got to just make multiple characters and voice them. For $399, what it costs for me to pay for Facerig VIP over 4 years? 5 installs. I can either go and give 4 licenses or 4 copies to other people. I don't know if it's like Unity where the seats on that, if I say hire a modeler and give them access to a seat that I've got for an asset I've got on Unity, if they leave the project for whatever reason, I can take that license back and give it to somebody else. I believe that's how it works because I haven't got to that point of trying it out. I've still got single seat licenses. But it says 5-time activations can install to 5 PCs. So if I decided I want to bring extra people in, and you know what? That is $400. And from what I can tell, it's not a year. It's not $100 a year. It's $400 for as long as I need to use it. 5 installs. That is what you're competing with. You're not competing with fucking Zoom. You're not competing with Streamlabs OBS. You're competing with things like F-Clone. Seriously, I say this in the nicest way. Pull your head out of your ass and really think. I'm just wondering if you like StarMate or somebody like that, where they like, well, we went and hired some special maths person management type who can do predictions of future sales, and they predicted that all our player base was going to die eventually, and shit, and people would get pissed off. We allowed for that. We don't care. It's like, what, did you have some analyst who's like, oh yes, it's going to piss off 99.9% of your customers. You're going to lose so many potential sales, but expect that, because you know what, PewDiePie will come along and give you $10 million and make up for it all. No, you don't. You've completely. Yeah. It is literally it's over your head who your audience is. Read the forums. If you are going to alienate your audience, get the fuck off Steam and go back to your crappy website and sell your product through there. Go sell it and market it to the people you want to market it to, and that's the people who are going to be open their wallet and pour it out on you. Maybe I'll be wrong. If I get proven wrong, so be it. But I honestly, I can't see Animaze being around, or maybe even Holotech. Because somebody even went and picked up how much money Holotech makes a year. It wasn't a hell of a lot. It wasn't like millions. But even they're like, we don't release our public financial records, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't take into account our US office. So it's like, well, if it's in the US, don't companies have to make their tax records or something public? So somebody could no doubt dig that up and get the actual figure. And they're like, the margins are so much different, but they're not going to tell us what their margins are. They're not going to tell us those exact figures, because I'm noticing that these guys they're bullshit artists. They are twisting the way things sound and the way they work. Tell us, how's important that's going to go. But anyway, this has been like just a bit over 2 hours now. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if that's typical YouTube bullshit. Leave a comment below. Ask me some questions. Tell me if there's anything you'd like me to cover, software out there. I'm always looking for suggestions of things to do. Go stalk my profile, check out my games library, add me on Steam, whatever, and let me know what games you want me to watch and stuff like play, or what things you want me to discuss, because I'm interested in what you're interested in. Do you want more tech tips? Things like that, because I noticed my tech tip videos and stuff are popular. But I hope this video has been helpful for you. Hopefully it'll give some discussion. But yeah, if you're a Facerig owner and you're not aware of this and you come across this video, get to the Steam forums and let Holotech know how you feel. If you're okay with it, let them know that. But if you're not happy with it, but just keep it civil. Let's, instead of us bitching and whining about the problems, let's look for solutions. Okay? Oh yeah, it's me. Where I say I'm winding up the video and then I ramble on for a few more minutes, because I think you're missing a good opportunity here. You can make money. Facerig is known now. Do good marketing. Get out there. Promote. Advertise it. Make it clear. Spend a bit of money. Get it on the Steam storefront. But make it a standalone product. You can make money. You can get a good user base. And do the DLC thing, but market audience. Like I said, I'm not going to pay $7 for an avatar pack when none of the avatars in there appeal to me. You need a bit more variety. Okay? To a sample audience, because it's going to be the same with Animaze. If you've got somebody like me who if I've got to make my own content, and I'm more of a texture artist, I would rather do skinning and stuff like that, because I would have to go get a model or something to do shit for me. That means I rely on your content. And if you've got a gold shop there, pay X amount of dollars for this avatar, pay this much for a skin, pay this much for a new color pack, you've lost me. But if you come along and say, well, what do people want? Do a survey, this and that. And you give me like, oh, for $5, here's 20 avatars, and giving something of value for your money. But shit, I'm going to own when you go under, or you pull the plug, or you just go, hey, man, we feel like we made enough money. We don't want to work anymore. What's going to happen, mate? What's going to happen if you can no longer provide the online support? I mean, as you've said, no online. This is basically Animaze. You'll be on there doing blah, 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 and the internet goes down, and wait, he's not moving. Oh, because I got no internet. Oh, wait, Holotech's no longer providing support. You're dropping support for Facerig, but I can still keep using it. You've got to understand why people are getting upset about this. But yes, try and keep it civil, because it is quite clear. If you get abusive, mods are going to lock or delete threads. And so they should, because you should be an adult. Even if you're a kid, be a mature child. We've all got control over our language and how we behave. There's no excuse for bad behavior. It doesn't help the cause either. It just reinforces them saying, well, you're just an arsehole. We won't listen to you. Try and put it in terms that they can understand and try and help us get through to them. Make suggestions. Help fix the problems. If only we applied that to a lot more in the world. Man, we probably wouldn't be dealing with this COVID lockdown bullshit and stupid crappy elections, and probably would have cured cancer and AIDS by now. But yes, anyway, let's wrap it up there. I've already done the like and subscribe for crap, but yeah, thank you very much for watching. You'll have a good morning, night, day, whatever it is in your part of the world, and I will see you on the next video. Okay, Rabid out. Adios. Bye-bye.